All right, welcome everyone to our wrap-up session for the June Your Way workshop, and welcome to all of you who are watching in the recording as well. I hope you can learn something from the fabulous discussions that these group of lovely people have had tonight, and they're prepared to share some of their takeaways so that you can learn from them. And then I hope you join us next month for our next Your Way workshop. July is travel month, and I'm so excited to dig into this because it's the perfect time to travel vicariously through others and through our past travels, since many of us are not going to be doing a lot of vacationing this year. So I think it's going to be a fun time to dig into our scrapbooking of previous adventures. But this month is Get Geeky month, and I can't wait to hear what you learned. So who is first?
I will go as far as like being intimidated. Always used to be intimidated with mixed media because it just seemed like a big learning curve. But I will say throughout the years, like we've kind of dipped your toe in the water enough times that at this point, I don't think it's so much that I'm intimidated. I just think it's maybe not for me. So I think there's like the balance between what I really do want to learn but feel intimidated by versus just saying like, yeah, that looks fun, but I don't think it's for me.
That's a really important observation because you can admire what other people do and how they express themselves without having that be your thing. Great, thanks. All right, who's up next?
I'll go next. Okay.
Ciara, how do you say your name?
I'm Carol. That's my email.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Carol.
Some lady, I didn't remember her name, but the group that I was in showed me the new external drive, and it's small, compact, and I can't wait to go get one. I'm so excited about learning about that. That way I can take all my photos on all my devices off and put it in one place, and then I can organize it because I have a grandson that's 5 years old, and I can get all his pictures in one spot.
Oh, perfect.
So and this is my first time with you, and I'd like to continue with you. I like this classroom environment.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're here, Carol, and I can't wait to see you next month as well.
Oh, yeah, I'll put it on the calendar.
Terrific. That's awesome.
Well, I'm done.
So what she's talking about is one of these, is it here, show it, oh, here I can move my camera. This is my external hard drive, and that has about 60,000 photos on it, and it's only about half full. I think it's a 4 terabyte drive, and so really my entire life lives on that hard drive. But they're super compact. I've taken them all over, everywhere with me, and yeah, super handy. All right, who's next?
I'll go.
Maggie?
Yeah, in one of the groups we were talking about the things that intimidate us, because I'm easily intimidated by new things, even though I can usually pick up and run with it once I've seen it. But we were talking about Photoshop Elements, and I got 2020 back in the fall when it was on sale, and I've played with it a little bit since. And I said that it's easier now than when I tried it years ago, because now we have so many options to find online resources, and YouTube is a good one. And so I think maybe now that I've like said out loud what I kind of knew, it's going to sink in. So maybe I'll try some more new things.
Well, and I think especially the more you try something, like the first time it's really hard, the next time it's a little bit easier. And then if you can find resources to help you and even people to help you, it just gets that much easier.
Yeah.
I know when I'm diving into something new, you may not even know the lingo, but the more you kind of absorb it, the more it all makes sense. And then you can even read, articles and tutorials and even watch videos with more confidence because you kind of even know what they're talking about. The first time you're like, I don't know what this is. Right. But then the more you get into it, the easier it gets. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Who's next?
I'll follow up what Maggie was saying because she was in my group when we talked about it's not exactly intimidating, but QR codes to link to a video on a scrapbook page. And how neither of us had done it, but it's kind of on our would like to try it list.
Yeah.
And shouldn't be hard, but just something different.
Yeah, it's not something that I've done either. And I've always felt like, is this going to be another like zip disk thing? Like it's just, is it going to be obsolete in a certain number of years? But they seem to be sticking around. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Certainly fun. All right, thank you. All right. Other ideas? Something that you want to try? What are
I have one.
organization solutions?
I have one. This is not an organization solution, though. Sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead.
It was mentioned in my group, the idea of, it's just a small thing, but the idea of handwriting on a digital layout. Like if you're doing a digital layout on your iPad, you could use your Apple Pencil, or a stylus to handwrite on there. And it's something I've never thought of. I always type on my digital layouts because then I don't have to handwrite. But a lot of times you would want to include your handwriting in that. And it's something it's a little thing, but I'm going to try it.
That sounds fun. Yeah, I love that. And especially even if you don't do it all the time, doing it some of the time, especially for digital scrapbookers, allows you to have that type of that personal touch that you would not otherwise be able to incorporate. Perfect. All right, what else? I know
Can
there's
I
things
ask
in
a
here.
question?
Yeah, go ahead.
How many of these Zoom webinars or whatever you want to call it have you done this year?
Well, we've done one a month for the Your Way workshops. So we have a different theme every month and we come on these. But then we actually get on Zoom inside of our My Simple Scrapbook community like multiple times a week. We don't do the breakout groups as much, but oftentimes it's like a small group of, 3 to 10 people who just sit and craft with each other and chit chat and have a good time. So we do a lot of stuff on Zoom, but this particular one is once a month.
How do you get to join that? I mean, what's the requirements
You go
to
to
join something like that?
You go to simplescrapper.com/membership. There's no requirements. We're open to, it is a paid community. It is $150 a year or $45 a quarter. I think that's what we have up there right now. And we are open to everyone in terms of paper scrapbookers, digital scrapbookers. We have a really lovely mix of people who do all different types of things, and they're always teaching and learning from each other. I think that's really the beauty of our community, is how much everyone supports one another. Any other membership related thoughts? We have a lot of members here tonight, so.
Best money I have ever spent.
Oh, thank you, Monica.
Best money I've ever spent. I do more because I can get on and meet with people if I have questions. I get so many ideas. I do so much more storytelling now and journaling because of this group, and having we have a weekly get together. It's just to help us keep on top of our photo organization, and just having that group that, that's the plan. You don't have to do it, but you kind of have that on your schedule. And so I'm more likely to have my photos organized, which is kind of the bottleneck to scrapbooking frequently. So yeah, best money ever spent.
There's a lot of really cool, like organic, like self-organization of people along different things, people who share, like, I want to go on this mission together, and then they find others to do that. And yeah, it's pretty special.
Wow, thank you. I'm glad that I got your email. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, let me know if you have any more questions. I'm happy to help.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions like that, or other takeaways from tonight?
Yeah, in my first group, someone brought up about cut files and organization, and it really stood out to me because I have mine currently. I just download it as whatever it is, and I do save it to a file, usually by designer. So if it was a Paige Evans cut file, I save it to a folder under hers, but I never like change what it is. So sometimes it's just like cut file 13. So then like when I want a rainbow cut file, like I just have to start opening all these cut files to try to find out, what each cut file is until I find something that I kind of want. So I don't really use cut files because I don't know what they all are. And then someone said, well, you could just rename the names. And I was like, oh, you know, that would probably save me a lot of hassle, and I could
Yeah.
actually use the cut files I've saved. And so, yeah, that was like a light bulb moment for me. Like, oh, I should probably do that, and then I could use all these wonderful cut files that I download and save, and I
Yeah.
just rename them. And oh, Rainbow with Clouds cut file, or you know, big title Love Family, you know, because I'd love to use them.
Well, I think sometimes it's just like that little recommendation, the little step that you need to take that makes a big difference. So it's a great idea. Thank you for sharing. All right. Go ahead, Maggie.
Jennifer, at the beginning, you shared the link where you had the questions. In one of the groups tonight, someone mentioned that it would be helpful to have the questions prior to the event. Do you post them early, or at what point could we see those?
I send them in the email that goes out the morning of the event.
Okay.
So if you received a reminder email today about coming to this from, you know, the Simple Scrapper email list, that's when I send out the questions.
Okay.
If you came like from the community, then I don't post the questions there because those events are usually created much more in advance. But
Okay.
I can work on doing the questions further in advance. Kim and I can talk about that and figure out how we can do that. It's certainly, you know, we can honestly probably come up with all the questions for the entire year in December. So.
Well, I know for the book club, you post, you know,
Yes.
discussion topics a little early. Maybe we could do the same thing for the workshops.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
If you can.
Yeah, well, this is our first year doing it, and it's obviously been well attended and a lot of fun for everyone. So we'll continue to do what we can to make it better. So thanks for the suggestion. Trying to think of what my geekiest organization thing is. Okay, I have one that actually doesn't work, but it's very geeky. Just a second. So this might work for someone who actually like does a lot of pocket pages and doesn't mind this. But I went to the Container Store out of town. We don't even have a Container Store, and I bought this shoe organizing drawer that has like a 1/3 compartments, and so only 2/3 of it is full. And then I have little dividers in here. Like for example, this one says grid cards. And then they're divided by like Citrus Twist, Studio Calico, Ellie Edwards, so by manufacturer. And I do go through it, but the whole thing is massively heavy. So it's very geeky, but not functional. But it doesn't mean it won't be functional for you. And it is the most practical solution I've had. I probably just, if I had the surface space, I probably wouldn't use the drawers. I'd just keep it out because the pulling out of the very heavy drawers is not practical. But anyway. Any other thoughts before we close out for tonight? We got some good conversation going here. Folks are interested in Lightroom. Yeah, I do have a number of videos on YouTube, which are also posted to the blog about my whole Lightroom process. And I think I even, I linked that in this week's podcast episode as well, because it was mentioned in my conversation with Kim. Annette says her goal is to switch from Photoshop to Lightroom. And I don't know if you mean Photoshop Elements Organizer for organizing, but I really see those as two very different tools. I use Photoshop all the time for, you know, digital and hybrid layouts, editing photos in a more, you know, detailed manner. But I use Photoshop for individual images, but Lightroom is how I organize my images and do like bulk editing and do my everyday edits. So they're two very compatible companion tools, which is why Adobe sells them together in the photography subscription plan. So something to think about there. All right. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to all of you who are watching in the replay as well. I will see you guys again next month at the next Your Way workshop. Take care.